pleasure to connect with you through the I Love CVille Network, where content that is local, that is important to us, that's important to Charlottesville, to Albemarle, to Central Virginia, to Spencer Pushard's Buckingham County. We talk about it right here on the I Love CVille Network. This show airs on 15 Facebook pages, 15 Twitter accounts, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Rumble. It is archived for you to watch it at your leisure in evergreen form or on-demand form whenever you choose. I think you're going to like today's program. We have multiple items of breaking news for you, including the Charlottesville Radio Group rebranding as Charlottesville Media Group. That was announced today. Tenants at Fashion Scare Mall. Is it fair for me to call it Fashion Scare Mall? Some people insulted that I call it Fashion Scare Mall. Some people say, Jerry, you shouldn't say that. I kid because I care. And let's cut to the chase. It's a ghost town. Regardless, the news, Fashion Square Mall, the proper brand. Tenants were just given via certified letter 2 weeks to vacate their businesses. And now they are left scrambling for a new headquarters as Fashion Square Mall is in the process of being reimagined, reinvented. A lot we're going to cover on today's program. Like and share the show. The Domino's on Stewart Street is relocating to Pantops next to the Giant. Judah Wickhauer says, that's a hell of a... No, you say it's a terrible move. I say it's a good move. So we'll do a little devil's advocate banter on the program. Bill McChesney said it was a 7-Eleven in the 70s and became a Domino's in the 80s. So that locally owned Domino's has been at that location since the early 80s and is choosing to go from the city to Albemarle County. That's a story to unpack. Leaving the city to go to the county. Is the county more advantageous for doing business than the city? Is it strictly a decision based on drive-by traffic and the advantage of being next to a grocery store like Giant? Pantops is a cluster duck. Quack, 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 quack. I would hope that's part of the argument that you make, Judah. You also have a little bit more competition over there with the Marcos, although on Stewart Street they had the competition with friends of the program, the owners of Fabio's. A lot we're going to unpack with that show, that topic today. How about this piece of information? Roots Natural Kitchen, good God, a brand and business built by university students, just opened its 14th location in Richmond, Virginia. You can make a legitimate argument that a brainchild, an idea birthed by University of Virginia graduates, salad bowls, rice bowls, grains, is arguably the most successful food and beverage business ever birthed in Charlottesville history. I would encourage you, the viewer and listener. John Blair, great question for you. Bill McChesney, great question for you. Neil Williamson, Lonnie Murray, Kevin Yancey, Sandra McDaniel, Vanessa Parkhill, Holly Foster, Georgia Gilmer, Nate Kibler, Joe Reed, Lauren Ivy, great questions for you. Which Charlottesville city-based food and beverage business has had a more significant trajectory than Roots Natural Kitchen, who has 14 locations now with a third just opened in Richmond, Virginia? Well done, Roots. Those boys, when they had one location, the UVA Corner one, looked at renting office space from me in the Macklin building for their corporate headquarters. They legitimately were touring a 130 square foot office that had no windows at $425 a month, had me send them the lease, and then chose not to rent because in their budget they did not have the $425 they didn't think to cover for a 12-month lease. Now they have 14 spots, Roots Natural Kitchen. I'll talk about that today. Also on the program, CVille's Lumin has been purchased by a publicly traded business. We have those details for you. The CVille Radio Group rebrands as the CVille Media Group. And we remind you of a fantastic interview on the horizon for Wednesday where the Executive Vice President of Development for a global business, Subtext, is coming on the show. They're building a 729,000 square foot apartment behemoth, 463 apartments, more than 1,300 beds, Judah, and commercial space in the shadows of Scott Stadium. Hot damn! This program is locked and loaded on a chilly Friday in downtown Charlottesville. Studio camera Two-shot Judah Wickower. I'm going to ask you which headline you find most intriguing on a glorious Friday. Judah's second favorite day of the week is Friday. This Friday. His most favorite day of the week is a payday Friday. That's not today. My favorite day of the week is a Monday, the start of the week. Judah's favorite day of the week is the last day of the week. This one is most second favorite. The most favorite is the payday. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
Okay. You're supposed to say, no, I love working here and don't look forward to not seeing you for 48 hours. No, I totally understand. Totally understand. Which headline is most intriguing to you and why? And then we'll give some love to Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. John Blair, welcome to the program. Beth Marcus, welcome to the program. TV and radio watching us.
I think it's wild that Domino's is changing locations. Who knows? Maybe I can't imagine it's because they're being pushed out, but I think it's a strange move.
Okay, I want to hear a convincing and compelling argument from you of why moving next to a Class A shopping center by an anchor tenant, a grocery store on Pantops, where there are thousands of rooftops and a less competitive pocket of the community, moving to this particular pocket, why that is a bad move, as opposed to staying on a secondary street, competing across the road from Fabio's on an East High Street that's turned into a cluster for traffic flow. But I'm confident you will offer a compelling argument of why this is a bad move. I'll offer the opposite one. We'll give some love to the Vermilion. Speaking of East High Street, John and Andrew Vermilion. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. Support the businesses we want to see make another 60 years. These guys are your market leader. Above ground pool season is right around the corner. Pool season is right around the corner. This is the business for any sanitary or pool supply or water need. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. Dennis Cantonin on YouTube. The last tenant in that place next to Giant was a pizza place. It lasted only a few months.
Was that the place that took over was it?
At first it was Christian's Pizza.
Yeah.
They had serious beef with Christian. This is knowledge for people. Yeah. They may not know. I know this business, got to choose my words slightly carefully for proximity to what happened. Christian's Pizza, Christian, the namesake, open on the downtown mall. The Christians that we know it next to the movie theater, they absolutely crush it. Christian himself, in the early stages, was slinging pizzas, making pizzas, working the register, interacting with customers. He then decided to franchise his Christians. He sold his downtown location, built a franchise model that has proven to be successful, penetrated the Richmond market. Andrew Vaughn, one of the co-founders of Rapture, one of the previous owners of Rapture, took a Christians to the Richmond market. In the process of franchising the Christians, he found a team that wanted to open on Pantops. They had tremendous success in the Giant shopping center on Pantops with their Christians model. They then wanted to take a Christians out into the Zion's Crossroads area, the Louisa area. The franchise documents were not as buttoned up as they should have been. The franchisor wanted X amount of dollars for opening a new location. The franchisee said, no way, Jose. That led to the rebranding of Christians to Lilo's Pizza. Lilo's Pizza, interestingly, they crowdsourced the name, chose a name that was after, I believe, the family dog.
Is that why the dog
I had a difficult
logo?
time calling it Lilo's.
Hence the dog logo, I guess.
Definitely the dog logo. That's why the dog logo was. Lilo's started out hot and finished, unfortunately, with a little bit of a fizzle, with some customer service and friendliness issues with the staff. It then closed. It became DIY Pie. Olivia Branch, you remember DIY Pie. I remember you posting about it on social media. DIY Pie was short-lived. Many folks complained that the DIY Pie product, the pizza they served, was akin to
Microwaved frozen pizza.
Your words, not mine.
I never ate there, so
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno's. Your words, not mine.
I don't suppose there's anybody left to be offended.
Your words, not mine.
I never ate there, and I'm not.
You're pretty close to it, though. Overpriced, what Judah said. Then it stays vacant for a little while. Now Domino's is going to call it home. We'll talk about that on today's program. Today's show is locked and loaded. A lot of information. Carol Thorpe, welcome to the broadcast. Viewers and listeners, help us spread the gospel. That's the only thing we ask in return. We don't ask you for money. We don't ask you for anything except hitting that like button, asking some questions, sharing the show. There goes City Planner Brian Haluska wearing a Scully and a beanie cap. He walks by here pretty much every day around this time. I would imagine he's going to the grocery store for lunch. That's one of the fantastic positions, reasons we chose this as our headquarters. It's on the corner of 4th and Market Street, where thousands of cars drive by every day. Hundreds of people, if not thousands, walk by every day. And I'm still impressed with the foot traffic that goes into that grocery store.
Yeah.
Like, it's a significant amount of foot traffic. Spencer, I'm going to get to your comments in a matter of moments. The lead of the show is the breaking news that you're hearing here first. I've heard the rumblings through the grapevine all week long. I had it confirmed this morning by a source that's in the mall. I won't reveal my source, but as trusted a source as you could find.
A rat?
As trusted a source as you can find. Smack dab in the middle of it. 2 weeks notice to vacate the mall. All the remaining businesses in Fashion Square, certified letter. John Wallington, the real estate closing attorney, walking by right now. I'm sure to a closing. That man's probably done thousands of closings in his very impressive career. What do you make of 2 weeks' notice to the tenants in the mall, certified letter, surprise with no heads up? What do you make of where these guys are going to go? You talk about a challenging proposition in the dog days of winter with what's projected to be somewhere between, depending on what meteorologist or weather service you follow, rain to 14 inches of snow in the next 7 days of our forecast. Your thoughts, Judah B. Wickower, jack of all trades, jack of all wits.
I mean, the whole thing is strange to me. First of all, I'm not sure. Were the businesses that are still alive in the mall waiting for Home Depot? Were they waiting for the emergency services vehicles that will eventually be serviced there? They
are being serviced there. Albemarle County's got a infrastructure. It's basically got a mechanic shop there.
Yeah,
a maintenance mechanic shop to service its county. Is automobiles the right word? I sound like my grandfather here. Cars and trucks, utility vehicles, service vehicles. Yeah. Okay.
So is that mainly who is visiting these shops? The last time I was there, it looked like it was only a few restaurants in one, that one tiny food mall area of Fashion Square Mall. So I don't know what else is open in there. Were they expecting a boom to come soon? I don't know how any of them are making money.
Okay, I'll offer some color and some commentary here. First two lower thirds should be rotated on screen, so those that are watching the feed can see what we're talking about, if you could, please. First off, here's the really unfortunate story, the really unfortunate aspect of this story. The businesses that were renting, there goes Hall Spencer, the award-winning journalist, walking by the studio. The businesses that were renting in Fashion Square Mall were businesses that were frankly already on the margin, on the cusp of not surviving. They chose to rent in Fashion Square Mall because they were offered ridiculous deals. The price per square foot, lease. Fashion Square Mall at the time, we broke the news on the show, was just trying to fill some of these storefronts with anybody who would take them. and they offer them extremely advantageous leases. Many of them minority-owned businesses, unfortunately. So the businesses that are getting screwed here are the businesses, frankly speaking, that were already on the cusp of collapse. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Small business, entrepreneurship, doing what we do. We're 17 years self-employed. Our firm turned 17 in May. That's bananas. 2008, during a recession, the Miller Organization was launched. And one thing I've learned doing what we do, where we are the confessional of small and mid-cap businesses in the Central Virginia market. Their C-suite comes into our office and tells us the good and bad and ugly of what's going on with their balance sheet, their P&L, their staff, their human resources, their sales. 80% plus of small business fail in the first 3 years. 80% plus. And one of the reasons small businesses fail is where they choose to operate. And some will chalk it up, hey, you picked Fashion Square Mall, you knew it had significant vulnerability. This is what comes with you picking this spot to do your business. Others would say, hey, 2 weeks heads up in January with a winter storm coming? That's no fair. That's bad business. That's doing us a disservice. That could be unethical. It is what it is. And now whoever's left in there has to get out. And that ain't right. And whoever's left in there is looking for places to figure out where to move. And they got a couple of days before snow hits on Sunday. And they got a few days after that before what some folks are calling 12 to 14 inches hitting the area. And Fashion Square Mall right now, it's the start of a complete reimagining. A small area plan that is a critically important gateway with Albemarle County. You talk about the most important gateways in Albemarle County, you're looking at one of the top ones right there. So if you're just tuning into the program, 2 weeks to peace. Georgia Gilmer watching the show. She says maybe they could take up space in Albemarle Square and the empty spaces in Seminole Trail next to Ferguson's. What is that called? Is that Seminole Square? Why is there Albemarle Square, Seminole Square, Fashion Square? Can somebody help me understand this? We have 3 shopping centers adjacent to each other on Route 29, Seminole Square, Albemarle Square, Fashion Square. All 3 of them are struggling.
And none of them are squares.
None of them are squares. Why are you putting the square in there? I don't have a square to spare. Elaine Bennis, Seinfeld. She wouldn't pass along any toilet paper under the partition in the public restroom of the women's bathroom. I don't have a square to spare. 2 weeks. I mean, madre. Spencer Pushard's offering us some perspective. Gosh, I love you, Spencer Pushard. Support Spencer Pushard. Any AV needs you have, SP integration. Spencer Pushard. He's the guy to call. Spencer's Gifts was there at Christmas time, he says. K Jewelers, there at Christmas time. Chinese restaurant, nail salon, Torrid, Hat World, the cool-looking glass lamp place. And I think Blue Ridge Pace had a suite there. The toy lift there as well. Storing their toys. Storing the toys for the next toy lift next year.
I think I got some pictures of that when the last time I went in there and walked around taking pictures of the empty storefronts. There was a place that I saw with what looked like tables full of something on there.
Pallets for organizing and storing the toys. Mm-hmm. Spencer Pushard, Spencer's Gifts, K Jewelers, Chinese restaurant, nail salon, Torrid, Hat World, the cool-looking glass lamp place, Blue Ridge Pace, the toy lift. Stacy Baker Patty says, does that include Belk's? I was under the impression that they own their own building. Word on the street is the former Belk's, the men's Belk's, is soon going to be home to Hobby Lobby. That's the chitter-chatter on the street. Olivia Branch, heartbroken about Spencer's. I thought they were invincible. Spencer's Gifts was around when I was a kid. I remember when I was 12 or 13 years old, Christmas shopping at Coliseum Mall in Hampton, Virginia. My family would always go to Coliseum Mall. We lived in Williamsburg. We'd go to the Coliseum Mall in Hampton to go shopping. There was a Spencer's Gifts in there. My brother and I would walk around as my parents did some shopping in the mall, and we were like, God, look at all these pretty girls at the food court. Look at all these pretty girls walking around the mall. And my brother and I would just follow these pretty girls around Coliseum Mall. We tried to eat some of the free Chick-fil-A nuggets that they were offering as a sample to entice you into Chick-fil-A. That's when Chick-fil-A was still starting out. Auntie Anne's had some pretzels over there. Damn, those pretzel bites were so good. I love the Auntie Anne's warm pretzels. There was always a Chinese restaurant of some kind in those food courts. How about the Sbarro's? Always a Sbarro's at those food courts. Remember that? Remember when the mall was a cool spot? Eventually we would meander. We would shuffle our feet after staring at some teenage girls when we were 12 or 13, and we go into Spencer's Gifts. And Spencer's Gifts, every time we were in there, always felt like it was a naughty place to be in.
It was.
It always felt naughty. Like I was in Blockbuster Video when I was 12 or 13 years old on Tuesdays, where it was rent one video, get one free, and we were looking at the VHS tapes on the wall, my brother and I. We'd go to Little Caesars Pizza to get one of those rectangular pizzas and the crazy bread. And then we go, as we were waiting for our pizza to get ordered, Mom said, go pick out 2 videos. We get them for a week. It's rent one, get one free. You each get to pick one. Jeffrey, of course, was doing the right thing. He was always following the rules, and he was looking at the new releases. Jerry, the older brother, was the naughty one, the mischievous one. And he'd sneak around the corner into the adult section and look at the nudie ones. I always felt like I was doing something naughty when I'd go over there, and it was exhilarating. It was quite a rush. That's what it felt like shopping in Spencer's Gifts. Remember? Mm-hmm. Like they had stuff on the shelves that was almost sexual.
Almost.
Profanity-laced stuff. But somehow Spencer's Gifts has withstood the test of time. Sandra McDaniel, welcome to the program. Maybe not anymore. I think Spencer's Gifts, how long has Spencer's Gifts been around? Let's do a quick Google on that. Spencer's Gifts. How long founded? That's what I should Google. Spencer's Gift. It was founded June 19th, 1947 in Easton, Pennsylvania by Max Spencer Adler as a mail-order catalog business. The company's first retail store opened in 1963 at Cherry Hill Mall in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. In 2003, the company was rebranded as Spencer's and operates more than 700 stores in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. It's known for its trends, body jewelry, teas, decor, and more. The company also owns and operates Spirit Halloween, a seasonal pop-up Halloween costume store. Good God, Spencer's Gifts has been around since 1947.
That's crazy.
It is 22 years away from being 100 years old. That makes it 78 years old. Yeah. Spencer's Gifts. No, and the mall said you got 2 weeks to peace out. Unbelievable. Love that naughty feeling of Spencer's Gifts. Georgia Gilmer says, a square was a quaint area in the center of town used for community gatherings. Sounds much like a Zocalo. Look up the word Zocalo. Fashion Square Mall, Albemarle Square, Seminole Square. 3 of the most underperforming shopping destinations in Albemarle County. Think about it. Maybe the top 3 most underperforming shopping destinations in Albemarle County all have the word square in their brand. Coincidence? Maybe. The curse of square? Possibly. But certainly no square to spare.
Stop calling everything a square.
Spencer Pushard, remember when McDonald's was in Fashion Square Mall? I vaguely remember that. When I first arrived in Charlottesville, I came as a first year at the University of Virginia in August of 2000. I'm approaching 25 years in this community. And I stayed. I never went home after coming to UVA. I would come home for like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and leave the next day. I'd come home for the day before Easter, stay for Easter, and leave the next day. Come home the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, stay for Thanksgiving, leave the next day. Every other day, I was in Charlottesville. I remember distinctly as a first year at the University of Virginia, staying in Dabney dorms on the DL. We weren't allowed to stay in the dorms over Christmas break. I somehow was able to stay in the dorms. Oh, you know how I somehow was able to stay in the dorms? I knew the janitor of Dabney. I got to know him really well. How I got to know him really well, I probably hooked him up with some stuff that I wasn't supposed to hook him up with. And he would let me into
Stuff from
Dabney.
Spencer's.
Not stuff from Spencer's, but he would let me into Dabney dorms over Christmas break. And I remember taking a bus from Bonnycastle Circle to Barracks Road, and then taking a bus from Barracks Road, public transportation, probably CAT from Barracks Road to Fashion Square Mall, and buying Christmas gifts for my family, then hopping a bus back to Barracks Road, using my fake New Jersey ID, which we made in Dabney 101, to go into Barracks Road's Harris Teeter, buy a 24-pack of Natural Light, $5.99 at the time, and then carry it on the bus as a 19-year-old back to the dorms, and then tap the shoulder of the janitor to let me in the dorm. But my Christmas gifts in 2000 came from Fashion Square Mall. Probably some from Spencer's gifts for my brother. Life's full circle. I'm slightly heartbroken. So that's the initial news of the show. Bill McChesney says Albemarle Square is at least looking a little bit better these days. And he also says that Domino's has been on Stewart Street since 1983. What's the next headline, Judah? Can you put that on screen? Can you read it out loud? What's the next headline?
CVille's Lumin acquired by publicly traded Biz.
So Lumin was founded in 2016. They describe themselves as a leader in intelligent load management, transforming how homeowners interact with energy and providing solutions that enhance comfort, visibility, and control. God, that's a lot of words. Lumin turns ordinary electrical panels into intelligent energy systems. Lumin unlocks smarter home electrification. Its products are thoughtfully designed, engineered, and assembled in Charlottesville, Virginia to exceed rigorous standards for performance and reliability. Well, Lumin, ladies and gentlemen, has been acquired by ABB. And I don't know much about global conglomerates like ABB. I know that ABB is publicly traded. Shares are listed on the Swiss exchange and on the NASDAQ Stockholm exchange. But I do know someone who listens to this program that does know about ABB, and it's Deep Throat. He says ABB is Swedish. I can't say these words. Deep Throat. Asia Brown Bovary, huge company. ABB, he says, already owned a piece of Lumin. They finished the acquisition. And it's easier to say that Lumin makes breaker panels that are internet connected. Oh, look at that, Deep Throat. You should be a copywriter in advertising. This man's truly a Renaissance individual right there. They make breaker panels that are internet connected. Lumin acquired by a global behemoth, ABB. A company founded in 2016 in Charlottesville, Virginia. Another success story in Charlottesville. Electricity, this is from the announcement. Electricity plays a significant role in residential energy consumption in North America, accounting for 44% in the U.S. and nearly 46% in Canada. In the coming years, this share is expected to grow, with residential electricity consumption in the U.S. projected to increase by 14% to 22% between 2022 and 2050. Amazing. These trends present a strong opportunity for ABB's newly acquired solutions to make all electric homes more affordable for builders and to help homeowners maximize their energy efficiency. So as I get off this topic, locally owned, locally founded, a number of people work for this company, including esteemed planning commissioner Rory Stolzenberg. He works for Lumin. I hope he hears I called him esteemed. They have been fully acquired by ABB. Another Charlottesville success story. Another Charlottesville success story. And speaking of Charlottesville success stories, that is a perfect segue into Roots. Can you put the Roots lower third on screen? And then viewers and listeners, I want to get to your comments. I want to get to your thoughts, your ideas. You make the program better. John Blair, you're coming up here with Roots. You're on deck, JB. Roots just opened its 14th location. What a success story for Roots. Its third location in the Richmond area. This company was founded by 4 friends at UVA. Roots Natural Kitchen, a company that specializes in what? What would you call it? Specializes in grains and salad bowls?
Sounds about right.
Each bowl's like 12, 13, 14 bucks. They just expanded their hours of operation. They're open now for lunch and dinner. They're legitimately a mid-Atlantic chain with 14 locations. I remember when these 4 UVA guys opened a Roots on the UVA corner. Literally next to Baja, like right next to Baja Bean. And these 2 guys, 2 of the 4 guys, reached out to me because they knew I had executive office space. This is before we had 24 of them. Mm-hmm. I think at the time I had like, I can tell you exactly. I think we had like, I had 3 at the time. I had 3 at the time because one of the suites we were using as the headquarters for our firm. And then we used the suite adjacent to the one we were, remember when we were on the 2nd floor upstairs? The office next to us, we started renting an executive format to offset the mortgage overhead. Mm-hmm. Dude, that was 10 years ago. It was 10 plus years ago. There's no more debt on those 2 offices. That suite adjacent to our office space covered all the mortgage, all the HOA, all the utilities, and allowed for additional payment against principal for the 2 suites to be paid off in less than 10 years. And they looked at renting one of those offices. I think it was $395 a month at the time, a decade ago. Had no windows. They said, send us the lease. We need a place for the 4 of us outside of the restaurant to meet. You cover the internet costs, right, Jerry? And the electric? I'm like, yeah. Like, okay, the others don't. Send us the lease. And then they responded the next day, we don't think we can afford this. They only had 1 location. Now they had 14. This is a perfect springboard into this conversation. What Charlottesville-based food and beverage business, Charlottesville history or Charlottesville current, has had more success than Roots Natural Kitchen with 14 locations? Viewers and listeners, help me figure that out. John Blair suggests 3 Notch, which is a damn good one. He says, I think it's a really interesting question about the F&B. The only restaurant I can think of with as large of a reach is 3 Notch. They have 6 locations across Virginia, and it's been my experience that when I go to statewide events, if you say 3 Notch, people from around Virginia respond positively. But congrats to Roots and Lumin. Great job by local businesses. He also said one of the bigger issues with the Fashion Square closure is the Chick-fil-A franchise. Those are pretty expensive and lucrative. I truly wonder what's going to happen with that. Another great comment from John Blair, number 2 in the family. James Watson, top 5 in the family. The only places that malls don't appear to be dead are in some major metro areas like Tyson's and several counties overseas. Fashion Square Mall must be a tax write-off for Hat World and Spencer's. No way anybody's made a profit there in 15 years. I think what's happened is Fashion Square Mall was renting to these businesses. In fact, I know this for a fact. Either renting to them or offering them no rent at all, and then using it as a tax write-off. No rent or discounted rent, and using it as a tax write-off to at least have some kind of density of retail density.
Yeah.
So viewers and listeners, I ask you this question. Can anyone think of a food or beverage business that has had more success than Roots Natural Kitchen with 14 locations? Carly Wagner, her photo on screen. She's smart, 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 smart. Bold Rock, maybe Devil's Backbone, may not have had tons of income in dime, but I think they are rather large companies. Devil's Backbone got purchased by Anheuser-Busch InBev for, I've heard, somewhere between $50 and $70 million. Devil's Backbone was purchased. Bold Rock has got, pretty sure the guy that I just found out that lives in the area that owns a part of the Houston Astros is one of the owners of Bold Rock Cidery. He's got a spot in downtown Charlottesville, among other spots. Those are all very good suggestions. Vanessa Parkhill says, we're making her laugh with the Seinfeld reference. I needed it today. Thank you. You're absolutely welcome. And if Vanessa Parkhill was next to you, she would have a square to spare. She would have a square to spare. Spencer Pushart says Star Hill. Corin Capshaw, Star Hill, Corin Capshaw. It's interesting. The references to which food and beverage, which F&Bs have the same type of trajectory as 14 locations, Roots Natural Kitchen, they have all been Star Hill, Bold Rock, Three Notch, Booze, Devil's Backbone, Booze businesses. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that I'm so impressed with Roots. Roots, 14 locations, strictly food, like food and beverage, traditional food and beverage, not alcohol brand, not alcohol company.
Yeah.
Easier to scale in the alcohol space than to scale in the salad bowl and rice bowl space, grain space. I mean, truly a success story for 4 UVA graduates. I mean, Roots, you clearly see the play here. Get as much Mid-Atlantic share as possible. Aaron King, we love you. Thank you for watching the program. Get as much Mid-Atlantic share as possible and try to exit to private equity. Interestingly, Andrew Silver and Ivan Rekosh, Ivan, I always mess up your name, developed and designed the menu for Roots on the UVA corner. The guys who founded Zocalo, 3 people founded Zocalo, Ivan, Andrew, and Peter Castiglione. Peter, Ivan, and Andrew had a little bit of falling out. Peter left Zocalo, and then Peter went and founded Maya with Christian Kelly. Christian Kelly, who was working at the Clifton Inn at the time. Christian Kelly, all these guys are friends of the program. Intimately know these guys. Booze with these guys. Party with these guys. Christian and Peter started Maya, named after Christian's daughter, Maya. One of the most brilliant things Christian and Peter ever did was buy the real estate where Maya is, including the apartment above it, I believe the space next to it as well. That gave them a huge edge. Christian and Peter then split at Maya, and now Christian owns Dooner's Restaurant after the passing of the late, great friend of the program, Wilson Ritchie. Gosh, Charlottesville's so small. Ivan, Andrew, and Peter start Zocalo. Split. Andrew and Ivan stay, run Zocalo. Andrew and Ivan develop the menu for Roots Natural Kitchen. Andrew splits amicably, heads to Texas with his family, has a salad and grain bowl business in Texas, a concept he fine-tuned while developing the menu for Roots. When Andrew went to Texas, Ivan took over developing a lot of the menu for Roots. Ivan has since sold Zocalo. He's not a part of it anymore. Neither is Andrew. Neither is Peter, the 3 founders. Peter went from Zocalo to Maya, where he partnered with Christian, who was at the Clifton Inn. Movie star looks for Christian Kelly. Awesome wife in Jen. Christian at one time could bench press more than any executive chef in the Central Virginia region, and it wasn't even close. I remember when my wife and I and you would go do photo and video shoots at these restaurants when we were first starting out. Yeah. My wife would say, "That's a good-looking chef right there," about Christian. I'd say, "What'd you say?" She goes, "Never mind." True story. Absolute true story. Christian and Peter split, and he goes and starts working as the executive chef at Dooner's. Then Wilson passes, goes to heaven, and Christian owns Dooner's now. Mm-hmm. And there's 14 Roots locations. Yeah. Crazy, 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 crazy. 25 years. Kevin Yancey, Star Hill has 5 tap rooms, 1 rooftop beer garden, and 1 full-service restaurant. Chitter chatter on the street is the Star Hill at Dairy Market ain't doing so hot. Anybody who's been to the Star Hill at Dairy Market knows it ain't doing so hot. Just use the eye test, and you know that Star Hill ain't doing so hot at Dairy Market.
Just wait till that candlepin bowling comes in.
Duck pin bowling.
Duck pin.
Duck pin bowling. I was actually talking about the duck pin bowling in the locker room at Borson with someone who's very close to the project. The duck pin bowling is expected to create a more family ambiance and atmosphere over at Dairy Market. And interestingly, it's got very limited lanes over there. I think, what did we say? There were 4, 5, or 6 lanes over there. Very curious to see how that plays out.
Interesting.
If you haven't realized, Dino...
I don't know if I've ever seen duck pin bowling.
I've seen duck pin bowling. I used to go to Wayne's Lanes.
I guess it depends where you live.
Wayne's Lanes in Waynesboro technically was not duck pin bowling, but the lanes were shorter. I got pretty good hand-eye coordination. I will roll at Kegler's and bowl like a $160, $170. I was going to Wayne's Lanes in Waynesboro and cracking 200 on the regular. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Then I found out that the lanes were way shorter at Wayne's Lanes, which is one of the reasons why we were rolling such higher scores compared to the Keglers on 29. And I was talking, Dino, very interestingly, owns many of the stalls that are in Dino's now. Dino's wood-fired pizza, Dino's rotisserie chicken, that's 2. The Moo Through is 3. The Basta Pasta is 4. He's opened the bakery, that's 5. Sizzle Shack, that's 6. And I believe has another one, which is 7. He is the mayor of Dairy Market, the dictator of Dairy Market, the head honcho of Dairy Market. He's also got the Pro Renata Moo Through and the Pro Renata Dinos. Props to you, Dino. Work hard, you have success. Success earned through hard work. People have said in the comments, oh, you're fortunate, Jerry. I call BS on that. Fortune and good luck is a product of hard work and strategic risk, hedging risk. Jay Wyatt, there was a duck pin here. Oh, his comment just got pushed down because when was there a duck pin here, Jay Wyatt? How long ago? I missed it. Did your comment went away? Did it get pushed down by too many comments? Comments are coming up. Bill McChesney says, Kegler's had duck pin bowling in some lanes back in the 80s. Oh, maybe that's what Jay was saying. Yeah. I didn't know that. That's before my time. I've been here 25 years in August. Duck pin bowling is much easier to roll a high score. What's the next topic? Judah B. Wickhauer, Jack of all trades, Jack of all wits.
Next up, we have Radio Group, CVille Radio Group rebrands.
CVille Radio Group, led by Garrett Klingel, talented head honcho. I hope Garrett Klingel's watching the program. Garrett, you watching? Is GK watching right now? They are now rebranded Charlottesville Radio Group to Charlottesville Media Group. What do you make of that, Judah Wickhauer? Charlottesville Radio Group has now rebranded, despite operating what? What are the stations it operates? Z95, 1070 WINA, 97.5 3WV, Fox 102.9, 1450 AM, 102.9 FM, Fox Sports, 106.1 The Corner, Country 92.7. So those are their radio stations. News Radio WINA 1070, 97.3 3WV, Z95, Fox Sports Radio 1450, 106.1 The Corner, and CVille Country 92.7. They recently launched the CVille Right Now digital platform. Basically what I Love CVille was. They launched the CVille Local Deals, a deal website. Our firm owned a discount deal website that we sold for 5 figures. Our firm also owned Charlottesville Restaurant Week, which we sold to Bill Chapman and Blair Kelly for 5 figures. 2 brands that we birthed from scratch that we exited and sold. Our firm also owned youthsportsnow.com that we sold for 5 figures. 3 brands that we started from scratch and sold. Catchmyfire.com, youthsportsnow.com, charlottesvillerestaurantweek.com. And they also have that Charlottesville Finest publication. They are now officially rebranded as Charlottesville Media Group. What do you make of this, Judah Wickhauer? Jack of all trades, Jack of all wits.
Time to pivot.
What else you got?
Who knows how long radio will remain? I mean, that's not. People will be listening to the radio for years, if not decades to come. But obviously, it's not what it once was. Jay Wyatt
said Terrence Bowl was all duck pin on Old Ivy Road. I love Jay Wyatt. Love Jay Wyatt. J.D. Wyatt is the gentleman farmer, the Titan of Troy. That's Jay Wyatt, the Titan of Troy, the gentleman farmer. Love you, Jay Wyatt. I'm sure he's got a Bud Light in his hand right now and a guitar in the other hand. Charlottesville Radio Group is Charlottesville Media Group. Smart move. Smart move. When you're in your vehicle, you're streaming. Your phone's plugged in. Pandora, Spotify, podcasting. you're not really doing a lot of radioing. And the people that are doing the radioing are people that are older millennials and up, not the younger millennials and younger. A lot of ways the radio is going the way of broadcast television, going the way of a chamber of commerce, going the way of a print newspaper, going the way of a phone book, going the way of the carrier pigeon and the Morse code, going the way of what?
Dinosaurs.
Georgia Gilmer loves that Jay White is the Titan of Troy. He's the Titan of Troy, the gentleman farmer, Jay White. I'd give him a flying chest bump and shotgun a Bud Light with him if he was here right now. Don't see him as much now that Curtis Shaver's Peloton Station is no more. Miss Peloton Station. Found the Peloton Station medallion bottle opener the other day in one of my drawers, Curtis. Brought back fantastic memories finding that medallion bottle opener in one of my drawers. The Charlottesville Media Group is a good brand for what they're doing. They're clearly trying to get into the digital space. They're podcasting everything. I'm going to cut to the chase. If broadcast television, if NBC 29 and CBS 19 doesn't figure out a digital rebrand of their own, they're not going to be here for much longer. I am hearing rumblings. They've had layoffs, significant layoffs. And I'm hearing rumblings that NBC 29 building is being considered to be listed. That NBC 29 building across from the Market Street garage, is that catty corner to us? Diagonally to us, is that a better description?
Kind of.
On Market Street across from the police station? That's probably the best asset they have of their business. NBC 29 and their building is Reed's Grocery and their building, the real estate. Eventually they're going to say, we can sell this real estate for $7-8 million. Then we can take all these 22-year-olds fresh out of college and we can consolidate them in a Class C type space, much less square feet, and run the show with much lower overhead and make this $7 or $8 million from the real estate. Similar to what CBS 19 did going from downtown Charlottesville when they were renting from Ludwig and Alan Kajin at Ix to off Rio Road somewhere, tucked in a corner that no one can see. Mark it down. Mark it down. Next headline, what do you got? Jack of all wits, Judah Wickower, Jack of all trades.
Verve.
Stephanie Wells Rhodes. Liking the story. I love Stephanie Wells Rhodes. There's no way on earth you look 21. When I was, going into Harris Teeter and buying the $6.99 natural light racks, I have no idea, but I had a fake New Jersey ID that we made that was absolutely amazing. We were 18, me, Connecticut Dave, Tall Tom, and Shannon bought some glossy paint, some printer paper, and one of those things, what are those things called that you buy that you can, a laminator? A laminator. And we made fake, I was from somewhere in Trenton, New Jersey. That thing got me in everywhere. The key with a fake ID, at least at that time, before they could scan your ID, was to know every aspect of the ID and to walk in with confidence and a chutzpah. And just own the fact that you were Carlos Hernandez from Trenton, New Jersey. And you went to Trenton High School, and you had Mr. Gillespie. And the key to the story was to use aspects of your actual life in the story. So the only thing that you're changing is your birthday and where you were born. Yeah. But everything else was your actual life. All right, 126 on a Friday. Pretty good show here. The final topic of the program, this coming Wednesday, we will chat with, what's the gentleman's name?
Mitch.
Mitch?
Mitch
Kramer. Who's Mitchy Kramer from? Mitchy Kramer. You know what that's from, don't you?
I'm not sure why you'd assume I would know where that's from.
Dazed and Confused. You ever see that movie?
It's been a long time.
You never seen Dazed and Confused? Have you seen Dazed and Confused?
Yeah, it's just been a very long time.
Watch it this weekend. Interestingly, you know what extremely well-known actor had one of his early breaks, if not his early break on Dazed and Confused?
I don't know, McConaughey?
No, not Matthew McConaughey. He keeps older, but they keep staying the same age. Not Matthew McConaughey.
Ben Affleck?
Not Ben Affleck. I thought you would say that. I mean, this cast was absolutely loaded. Matthew McConaughey.
No kidding, that's why.
Parker Posey, Ben Affleck, Jason London, Mia Jovovich. I'm sorry I'm messing up your name, Mila. But ladies and gentlemen, Cole Hauser played Benny O'Donnell on Dazed and Confused.
Son of another famous.
Who is Cole Hauser? What's Cole Hauser's most famous role, Judah?
His most famous
You got this.
role?
I know you got this.
I don't know.
Cole Hauser's most famous role. What do you got?
I've probably seen more of his father's movies than Cole Hauser's movies.
Rip Wheeler on Yellowstone.
Rip Wheeler?
You don't watch Yellowstone?
No.
Have you seen any Yellowstones?
No.
You've not seen a single episode of Yellowstone?
Nope.
Oh my God.
I don't have Paramount.
The man, it's on any...
And I don't watch a lot of TV.
The man has not ever had a photo with Santa Claus in his entire life. Not one picture with Santa Claus in his entire life. Have you ever met Santa Claus?
I mean, I've seen them.
You've never met Santa Claus.
I
My
don't
heart
know.
breaks. My
I
heart
don't
breaks. He just had Chick-fil-A for the first time a little while ago. Isn't that true?
A couple of years ago.
What was else? I'm not trying to put you in a tough spot here. What else was on the Judah list?
I think I've still got the list somewhere.
We got to add Yellowstone to the Judah list. The man has never seen Yellowstone.
Why would we have to add Yellowstone?
Yellowstone is one of the most iconic television series of our generation. Is that fair to say, viewers and listeners, that Yellowstone is one of the most iconic television shows of our generation? Yellowstone is to this generation what Sopranos was to the last generation. Viewers and listeners, do you disagree? What's on the Judah list? We have to add Yellowstone to the Judah list, please.
Oy vey.
I'm going to bring Santa Claus in here for Christmas so you can sit on his lap and get a photo with Santa.
That's not at all creepy.
That was funny. What's on the Judah list?
There are 4 items now. One of them has been moved way down, which is never eaten at Chick-fil-A because we've knocked that one off.
Judah's eaten at Chick-fil-A one time in his life, and it just recently happened.
Yeah.
Deep Throat says, who's got an estate in Bozeman, said Yellowstone nearly destroyed Bozeman, Montana. I've heard that, the impact of Yellowstone on Montana.
Do you mean that the TV show nearly destroyed the actual place?
Yellowstone was such an iconic, generationally influential television show that it influenced human behavior and encouraged wealthy folks from the East Coast and West Coast to spend millions, if not tens of millions of dollars buying up real estate around Bozeman, Yellowstone, and much of Montana, gentrifying the community, making it a tourist playground and not its true roots of being like a rancher's playground.
Lord save us from rich idiots.
What? Rich idiots are effing up everything. Aaron King, rip. She's right. All right. Dazed and Confused reference. What is on the Judah list of things you've never done?
Well, we now have Yellowstone.
He's never seen Yellow. Okay, that might flabbergast me even more than the fact that you've never eaten at a Chick-fil-A. Never had a photo with Santa Claus to top the list. Jesus. Call Child Protective Services on the parents over there.
How many shows there are out there? Oh, okay. If I watched every show that somebody claimed was the best show ever, I'd never leave the television.
Bill McChesney, I've watched them all. The new season of 1923 is coming out February 23rd. I'll add some color to that. February 23rd is the second season of 1923. I in particularly liked, was it 1889? What's on the list? Please.
Photo with Santa Claus.
1883 was what it was. The Yellowstone prequel, 1883. Okay, it was no photos with Santa Claus. God, that is so crazy to me. The man has never asked Santa Claus. I'm not trying to put you on a spot here. I apologize.
I don't care.
Okay.
It's not even. I'm not sure why it's even a big deal. Also,
Every child in America has asked Santa Claus for something. Even Jewish children ask Santa Claus for something. Okay, go ahead. What's on the Judah list? It's no photos with Santa Claus.
I
never eaten at Chick-fil-A.
Particularly, I don't remember how young I was when I realized that Santa was all fake. I don't think that my parents ever tried to
Little ears watching the program. Be careful.
Okay.
What have you not done? Yeah, Judah's right there, just
come
wrecking
on.
lives over
They've
here.
got-
Judah's wrecking lives over here.
The internet at their
no.
fingertips. How many kids still?
6 and 7, please.
I didn't say anything.
6 and 7-year-olds do not know how to Google. Okay, can you? What is on the Judah list of things you've never done?
I've already told you all of them. The last one was go to Reed's, which may not be.
You've never been to Reed's Grocery.
No.
You got about 19 minutes left.
19 minutes.
19 minutes left
Hold on.
to go to Reed's Grocery Store. Never Chick-fil-A. Okay, that's a pretty darn good list. He's never been to Chick-fil-A. He's never watched Yellowstone. He's never talked to Santa or had a photo taken with Santa. And he's never been to Reed's Grocery. Wow. Deep Throat. Yellowstone brought lots of rich people playing cosplay cowboy, not realizing that Western Montanas don't dress like Dallas dandies.
Heaven save us from rich
Radio
idiots.
is critical. When I was on the road New Year's Eve, I listened to my beloved Nitty Lions over my phone. Radio saved me when my signal cut out. Radio needs to stay. Hey, a lot of people don't realize this. I ain't throwing shade on radio. My background was print, radio, and television. While I was a student at University of Virginia, I was working part-time at Daily Progress. I was working when it was Clear Channel Communications, doing a talk show on Sports Radio 1400 WKAV, and parlayed all that to syndicated radio, column writing in the newspaper, front page writing in the newspaper, and 2 TV shows with NBC 29. Our firm, 17 years in May, based on that experience with content and print, radio, and television, and management and sales. So I ain't throwing shade. I'm just cutting through the noise that we've got to realize that. Right? I mean, there's a reason they're rebranding from Charlottesville Radio Group to Charlottesville Media Group. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's All right. Any closing thoughts over there? Rip Wheeler, Beth Dutton, Casey Dutton. Beth Dutton. She's a beaut. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's crazy that
Monica,
this is
Casey's wife. She's a beaut. Go ahead. I hate Jamie Dutton. I despise Jamie Dutton. What were you saying? I apologize.
That's okay.
Stephanie says, watch it, Judah. I just watched it all the way through again. It's so good. Stephanie, amen, sister. I've watched Yellowstone start to finish 3 times. I've watched 1889 twice, 1923 twice, and I can't wait for season 2 of 1923. Okay, I apologize for interrupting you. Go ahead, Judah.
And since we're so alike in temperament and thought, that of course I would love this show.
It's this generation's version of Sopranos. It's this generation's version of Friends and Seinfeld. It's this generation's version of Dallas. It's this generation's version of The Simpsons.
Fresno.
It's this generation's version of Beverly Hills 90210 and Home Improvement. It's this generation's version of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It is the iconic show of this generation, Yellowstone. It was appointment television. Appointment television. Sincerely, Taylor Sheridan, the creator of all these series, 1883, was it 1883? Yeah. What was the other one he did? Was it 1923? Gosh, so many 23s. TV show. Taylor Sheridan was the guy behind 1923, 1883, Yellowstone. He's the man behind Mayor of Kingstown. No, Tulsa King, Tulsa King, mayor of, was it Kingstown? Yeah, mayor of Kingstown, Hell or High Water, Wind River. He's the guy behind Lioness. Lioness is amazing. If you haven't had a chance to watch Lioness, watch that. Ties to Sons of Anarchy. I mean, good Lord, Taylor Sheridan's got the Midas touch. All right, this is the end of the broadcast. In December, I am going to hire a Santa Claus to come here for one of the talk shows. And we're going to put him on the studio and kindly ask. I think asking you to sit on his lap is inappropriate, unless you want to do that. Can you and I take a photo next to Santa Claus on the show, where I'll be on the right and you'll be on the left, and Santa Claus will be in the middle with the I Love CVille branding in the background, and we could take that photo and hang it on the Wall of Fame? Can we do that? Is there a way to show the Wall of Fame over here?
I suppose.
We got to get Donna Price on the Wall of Fame. She was surprised she was not on the Wall of Fame. I apologize, Donna Price. All right, that's the talk show. Snow on Sunday. They say a foot of snow next week. I'll believe it when I see it, but good night. It's been a cold winter here in Charlottesville and Albemarle County. If your hoses are still connected to your spigots, unscrew them. Hopefully my wife,
that's what she said,
the CEO of the house, wife, we got to unscrew that hose. Gosh, it might be frozen. Thank you kindly for watching the program. For Judah Wicker, I'm Jerry Miller. So long, everybody.